Cheers, everyone. And today we got ourselves an interesting success story about height. I get this question a lot from a lot of people about, is it possible to, what do you think about physical appearance and manifesting height or physical changes and things like this? And although I haven't personally done this with height, I've had other appearance changes, mainly just like physical transformations, lowering body fat percentage, things like that. But it's also interesting because depending on who you're around, what mood you're in, I mean, people change. People really, depending on your energy, people look different. They appear different. But what I want to get into right now, just before I get into this, is even though I haven't personally done this, I have a friend who, when we were in high school and college, we were pretty much the exact same height. I remember looking at him and we were eye level, even up to the point of us being like 20, 21, 22. We were about the same height. But over the course of the years, specifically from our mid 20s into our late 20s, now at this point in time, he is 2 to 3 inches taller than me. Like when I look, we're not wearing shoes and I look at him, I'm looking up now. So I know that he grew. So I know it is possible to grow. And there's, even though doctors will say it's not possible, I've seen it in real life firsthand with him. And funny enough, I never asked him if he like manifested this. But let's get into the reading here. I'm going to cover it, give you guys my thoughts on this whole thing as well. So I made a comment a few years back in which I still get tons of DMs about where I mentioned I grew in height from 5'11/6 foot to 6'2/6'3. And he's included the photos here, before and after. I'm in the middle and my father's on the left. Here I was around 22 to 23. So we see in both of these photos that he is right. He was on the middle in the first photo, and he's on the far right in the second photo. This photo is from today, Christmas. I'm 27 now, but did this when I was 25. We just took the photo, so I figured I'd show my proof. Dad's on the far left, I'm on the far right. And just like with any of these stories, we're taking this at face value and, assuming that he is coming in good faith, that he hasn't made adjustments to the photos or anything, or isn't trying to, So going forward, I was already tall comparatively, so I didn't have a pedestal about growing taller. This is when I was getting into Neville harder, so I decided to just try it out. I accomplished this in 3 days and only realized it was done because multiple others in my life said I looked taller. Now, how did I do it? Step 1, went into meditation / sats. To be honest, it doesn't really matter. All I was in was just a calm, relaxed, meditative state. That's it. Step 2, imagine my legs growing and had growing pains for 2 to 3 minutes. So he really actually got into that sense and remembered what that felt like from previously, like feeling the tendons and the tibula or whatever, in his shins, the growing, right? Just said it's finished. Step 4, watch some anime before I went to sleep. Step 4 is very, very important because it shows I wasn't worried or cared about whether or not it would come. I just said it, claimed it, boom, done. That's it, everyone. Nothing else. Didn't affirm for days. Didn't check my height daily. Nothing. Literally did it and went about my life. So how did I find out? I go to the gym every day and a man I talked to came up to me. We were eye level, and years of seeing him, I knew this. Suddenly this day I realized he was slightly looking up at me. That gave me little goosebumps and I grinned. Then that night I went out to dinner with my cousins. I see every now and then, maybe 7 times a year. Prior to going, I was telling my brother that I was taller. He didn't really buy it because we were both around the same height. When we went to dinner with them and both cousins said, "Damn, did you grow?" I looked at my brother and he couldn't really say anything then. The next day I measured and sure enough, I was 2 inches taller than I was previously. I didn't measure until others told me I was taller. Then I figured I'd satisfy my lizard brain with proof, which sure enough, it is satisfied. I hope this puts to rest DMs of doubt I get all the time. So now you have it for all to see. Science would tell you it's impossible, but we all know that I am is what really matters. P.S. Years later, into Neville and this realm, I'm almost 28. Now I realize 3D is really a big liar. So for those of you who are 5'4", 5'5", etc., what I'd tell you to do is really get good at denying the 3D for what it is. And since you likely have a high importance on growing taller, deny what you physically see and only care about being taller internally and persist. I'm working on bigger manifestations now that I'm doing this and it's working. Similar to being 5'4" and growing to 5'11" in relative difficulty, I guess you could say. Merry Christmas. Yeah, okay. So some people are talking about this in the comments. Definitely other people talking about their physical changes as well. So one thing that, so somebody asked, how often do you do this stats practice? He said he just did it once. This person's talking about he was already tall. You simply never had the experience of contradictory evidence regarding height. Exactly. But it has to do with importance. I didn't place importance on whether or not I'd get taller. I just did it and moved on. Check out Reality Transurfing. Chapter on importance. Yes, the chapter on importance. Transurfing, yes. It's got the greatest example or greatest description of these concepts of importance, you know, the pedestalizing things, the excess importance that we put on the things and how that gets in the way, which is why we have to detach or reduce importance or put things off the pedestal or enter into that state of neutrality that I'm really always talking about. All right. The thing that I want to add on to this now is that it's become very popular lately because of certain creators to basically say, just believe it, just believe it's done, right? It's just one of those things that, like this person said, because he didn't have importance, it was easier for him to get into this state. So what I would suggest is that if you're somebody who has more importance around this thing and you want to grow taller, which many people do, is to do something that will make it more believable. Because when you put things on a pedestal, when you feel that lack, when you feel that difference of where you are and where you want to be, it's all well and good for people to just be like this person giving their advice and like, just believe it's done and that's it. But when you're able to do something where your logical mind gets on board, you're really doing yourself a favor. I'll give you guys a couple examples. In Michael Jordan's biography, his mom wants him to grow taller. He wants to grow taller because I think he was like 6'3". And this was, I believe he was about 20 years old and he was 6'3". So what his mom did was she put salt in his shoes and she told him that this would make him grow taller. Now, whether or not that works, you know, that's obviously people, you know, are going to think and that it was a placebo effect, and it very well could have been. The point is, it doesn't matter if it's a placebo effect or not. Anything that you can do to get your logical mind on board is going to help. So when people bandy about this stuff, like just your logical mind belongs like in the trash, or just get rid of your logical mind, or there's no logic in this. Yeah, easier said than done. If you can do that, go right ahead. But the reason that most people struggle with their manifestations is because they're unable to get the logical mind on board. And your logical mind, I find that more often than not, when people go from this very feel it real from the end approach, all you're doing is creating more resistance. So if you come out with a process-oriented approach, and if you do things that make it more believable to yourself, whether it's the salt in the shoes is a kind of silly example, but there's a guy online that does videos. There's actually a few different guys online about how they've grown taller than what they were genetically supposed to be, or how they grew taller when they were in, you know, past the point of puberty, right? And a lot of these guys have taken supplements. So if this is something that's very important to you, why not do that? Just like with anything else, there's a lot of women that will take royal jelly, or they'll take all these different things to like grow more beautiful hair, more luscious locks of hair. And for me personally, I went to the doctor because I was feeling a few years back really, really low energy. Come to find out I was dangerously low in vitamin D, which interferes with all kinds of things because it's like a very foundational nutrient. So I started getting some of these supplements in and my energy levels went up. So you can believe in the loss of assumption all you want. The thing is, we're still in this physical world. So if you're literally facing malnutrition, or if you're literally not getting enough nutrients, That could be one of the things that's causing low energy. It could be causing the fact that maybe you don't have the nutrients enough simply to actually grow taller. For the most part, if the more you believe something, the more real that it is. But if you're literally like in a state of malnutrition and have nutritional deficiencies, that could be part of the reason why you are unable to grow taller. Or like, let's say that you work out every day, but you never eat any protein. You're not helping, right, by doing something like that. It's the same thing as like if you were to get uh, bitten by a snake and then be like, I'm just gonna like manifest this so that it's not toxic to me. Like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just go to the hospital? You would go to the hospital, right? But then you would also envision yourself being healthy. It's a holistic approach that you take to this. It's not just to say like, I'm just gonna eat food that's terrible for me and manifest being in good health. That's not a smart way of going about this. The holistic approach always works. It always helps. And if you are seriously wanting to grow your height, there are certain nutrients that you can take that are going to help. And even if you're somebody that just doesn't necessarily full on believe that, or if you believe in the manifesting thing, doing something, whether it's supplements or it's something else that is going to help your logical mind believe that it can happen for you, is going to help. Whether it's doing some sort of crazy ritual. People also make people feel stupid for doing rituals, but everything is done in a way to help you. So if you like listening to relaxing music and that relaxes you to help you get into the state of the wish fulfilled or the state akin to sleep or whatever, why would you not do that? Listening to music to relax you is another ritual. Like doing something where you let's say you want to get rid of a belief, you burn the note with all the negative beliefs, that's a ritual. Anything that helps you get empowered is a ritual. So why would you not want to do something if it's going to help you? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to say, oh yeah, just uh the logic, there's no logic in this. And then it's just, okay, the more that you do that, the more resistance you're going to encounter because you can't get rid of your logical brain. So anyways, I would recommend that. I would recommend no matter what manifestation that you're going for, to learn about how you can do it in the 3D, from the 3D traditional perspective as well, and use both. Because if you do want to grow healthier nails, I have a nail thing, my nail splits here, and so I put nail polish on it just to prevent it from splitting more. But yeah, I can imagine that my nails are stronger. I can imagine that my teeth are getting whiter. But why would I not want to also use whitening strips? Why would I not want to also do the thing that I know can actually produce the result as well? Why would I not want to eat healthier? I want to be healthy. Why would you not eat healthy? Why would you eat like trash and just try to manifest your health? Realize that as much as the 4D and as much as the reality of the spiritual plane is influencing the 3D, that we are still housed in these physical bodies. And so nobody up until this point has ever manifested, eternal life or the philosopher's stone or all of these things that many people have wanted throughout the history of the humanity, because we're also subject to entropy, to certain laws in the physical universe. And for us to just ignore that, let's say, and just drink some sort of poison and then try to imagine it away is a foolhardy thing to be doing. So the blind denial of the physical world, of the physical body, is not going to help. What will help is in being inclusive of it, and inclusive of what, as these physical beings that we are here while we're in this human experience, is going to make us feel and believe this thing to be possible and more real. Getting magnesium, getting vitamin D, there's certain other supplements that you can add to your repertoire that will more than likely help you in the same way that it helped me when I started taking vitamin D as a supplement. It helped me so much because there's no sun over here either is an issue. So, yeah, guys, the holistic approach, that's what I'd recommend. Where did the placebo effect originate from? From doctors giving patients sugar pills, which they told them was the cure. It didn't just occur from the doctor being like, just believe it real, just feel it real. They used training wheels. They used a crutch, which was the sugar pill that helped them believe it. It helped their logical mind be like, okay, this is true. So that's all I'm saying with you guys. It makes sense to do what's going to work. You want the result, right? So do what works. Do what's going to help you get there. Move up in your belief. Anyways, much love as always. Drop this with a like. Hit me with a subscribe. Let me know down below if you've had success with physical changes, any other kinds of success stories or videos that you'd like to see me cover next. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video.